tawny eagle hunting a baby Thompson's gazelle not so long ago, but it didn't catch it. I'm very sad that I've never seen an eagle flying away with something really large. They've known to catch pythons. You know what, actually, possibly one of the larger things I've seen was a pair of African hawk eagles with a guinea fowl. That's also, I mean, a guinea fowl is a pretty large bird. And it's fascinating, they're specialist bird hunters. African hawk eagles work together in pairs, one high, one low, to catch things like francolins, spur fowl, guinea fowl, anything like that. And a dog. I've seen an eagle fly away with a dog. I forgot about that. It was a traumatic experience. It wasn't my dog, but I have seen an eagle flying away with a small sausage dog. It was terrible. The owner was distraught. Well, I may not have been fortunate enough to see eagles flying away with very large prey, but I wonder whether or not Noel has.
Jamie, the largest thing I've seen an eagle fly off with is a fully grown guinea fowl. I've heard of the dog scenario, but haven't seen it. We have now come across with a nice size breeding herd of elephants, and up in front here, we've got some youngsters on the side there. Up in front, we've got a teeny tiny little baby that's just underneath. So we're gonna creep forward as best as we can creep forward in a vehicle and see if we can get a nice view of this little one. I love baby elephants. This herd actually has quite a few of them. Jules, you'd like to know how long do elephants typically sleep in a day? They don't sleep as heavy as we do, though time to times they will. And it's not actually very long. It's sort of a little bit of a rest here and a little bit of a rest there. Maybe a total of about an hour, depending on the heat. There we go. Oh, look, it's still pink in the ears. It's so tiny. I would say this one's probably about a week. That would be my guess. Sort of stumbling about still pink in the ears. Maybe a little bit less than a week. Fighting with that bush. Yeah, you're right, Curse. Curse is saying it looks too small to even reach Mum's pectoral mammae, or breasts as we also call them. And yeah, he'll have to sort of go up on his legs and sort of lift up to get there. Now his older sibling is being protective of him. We've got a Cokie Franklin that was just calling there in the background. Cokie, Cokie, Cokie. So tiny. Yes, madam, we know, we're not moving. Very protective. Similar to how human kids are with their younger siblings. Sorry, this baby is totally making my day. It looks like it wants to run and move around like its older sibling, but it's just not quite sure how to function its body. This is precious. Look how tiny it is compared to its mum. Akamuder. So cute. Let's come up a little bit closer. Mom is very, very, very relaxed. I think there's probably about 50 elephants here in total. Everyone's spread out, feeding. Older sister is getting her little bee into a bonnet there. You know, this is fabulous, everyone. Look, look, look. Look, look, look. Too cute. Oh, it wants to be just like older sis. This is such a girly thing to say, but if I could choose a little wish right now, it would be that this little elephant doesn't get any bigger than what it is. Look, look, look. That's about all it can do, is run from sister to mom and back again. Busy stretching out those muscles, forming those muscles, strengthening those muscles. Oh, it's so tiny it feels like you could put it in your pocket, but it's still going to be about 100 kilograms. Lisa, you want to know what the bottom side of an elephant's foot is like? It's callous. So it's hard, but it's not extra hard. The back side of the ear is super soft. The skin is warm and soft and firm all at the same time, and lightly textured. It looks like it's heavy textured, but lightly textured. I'm going to move forward again. Ooh, we're having a little bit of interaction between some females over here. So mom's going to go over and make sure that the little one doesn't get caught up where it shouldn't be. And we're going to come to the termite mound and check on everybody. See if we can get this interaction on camera for you. So mom's put little one just at her feet, and sister is standing next to it, and mom's just, probably telling everyone like, whoa, careful. Now remember, a lot of their communication happens on a frequency that we don't hear. It's a very low frequency. It's subsonically. Some of it we can hear out loud. See, mom's saying go away. Mom and sister. Telling them that's not appropriate behavior around my baby. Ramina, it's not a silly question at all. You were saying this might be a silly question, but do they in fact have toenails? They do have toenails. They have 5 toes in front, 4 toenails in front, and 3 toenails in back. But the front is really actually fingers and fingernails. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, yeah, they do. So if we can find a foot that's not covered in grass, we'll show that to you. I'm sorry, it's way too cute. Alright, so there's too much tussle and bustle that's happening here. So a little bit farther off with the little one. It's interesting how the teenagers are the ones that are getting all bent out of shape and mom's the relaxed one. A couple of these teenagers are young males. Now they're looking at fruits, taking a break. And now it's time to wrestle again. I want them to climb up this termite mound. They do that sometimes. Sometimes they go back end up. I'm also enjoying this sighting, everybody. Ugh, elephants, we talk about it. Elephants are cute, they're funny, they can sometimes provoke really in-depth conservation questions, and sometimes they're just really relaxing to be around. Tiamat, you're convinced that Ellies have a sense of fun? I would agree with you 150% there, Tiamat. They definitely have a sense of humor. They're very cheeky and lighthearted. And I love how they go through these little moments of, let's wrestle, let's play, ah! And then, oh, I'm hungry, wait, let's eat. And then their attention span's not like a wild dog where it's super ADD, but they definitely try and multitask as much as possible. Bildy's had to turn pretty much all the way around. I don't want to move the car too much, I don't want to chase them off. And they're close enough, I think we can actually hear this young male pulling the grass out of the ground. And that bird, I don't know if you can hear that bird in the background that sounds like it's whistling almost, like a wolf whistle. That's a black-crowned chagra, one of my favorite birds. Very difficult to get on screen, but nice that we could hear it. Wunderbar. He's watching us, this cheeky little male. See that? Now he thinks because he's getting up on the termite round, he's going to be a little bit bigger than us. Jennifer, good question. You're curious how long elephants stay with their mums. The females will stay in the herd their whole lives. The herd only breaks apart if there's a resource issue. So the herd's too large for the area that they traverse for resources. And then the males leave when they're about 15 to 18 years old. It's big and strong and virile, and then go find breeding herds to make their own babies with. Yes, get on that termite mound, my boy. Right to the top. Termite mounds are highly versatile and prolific in their ability to make nutrient pools with gardens that they grow under them. And so you find really palatable green grass that grows on and around termite mounds. So this young elephant bull is tasting of those fruits. Yeah, you want to be cheeky towards us, but you can't quite decide if you're going to get away with it. I see you thinking there. He's trying to find an angle that he thinks will suit him best to make it the larger of the two of us. See that? Yes, you're a big bad elephant. Do it again. I'm going to start laughing just now and he's going to get offended. I'm sorry, my boy. One day you'll be a big bad elephant. Now he's pretending to eat more of the fruits, or he might actually be getting a couple of them. Elephants do some displacement behavior where they pretend to eat, but they're not actually eating, and they're keeping an eye on you. So he's half doing that. Do it again, my boy. I know you want to. I can see you building up to it. Alright, while this young male decides if he's going to try and pretend he's a big elephant again, Jamie is back with the Olololo. Yes, the Olololo Pride of Lions. So I think let's head on up to her.
Well, all alarms have taken me by surprise. They didn't go in the direction I thought they were going to go. They've gone further up the mountain, which is very fortunate for the buffalo herd, because the buffalo herd have actually wandered almost across to where we left them a little bit earlier this morning. So unfortunately, this is as close as we can actually get to the lions at this stage. A massive lugger and forest in our way, which means that there probably is a little secret route in here somewhere, but I have never managed to find it. So there we go. Our lions, our entire lion pride, have gone towards the zebra rather than towards the buffalo, which was what I was expecting them to do. And although the zebra are quite far away, there is also a family of warthogs further up the hill, and I think that's what our lions could be aiming for. So if we look, I don't know if you can see there, Adrian, just up, all the way up towards the big tree. There we go. There's a family of warthog over there. It might be that the lionesses have decided they're not in the mood to tackle something as large and dangerous as a buffalo, and they've started to move up towards the zebra, the warthog, and the impala. Now, just to let Kirst know, she is breaking up a little bit. I know I did get the essence of that question, though, which was from Andrew, who's wondering if lionesses or lions will ever take down a full-grown ostrich, I think was the question. The answer to that is yes, they can. It does happen, but it's very unusual. Cheetah are actually the animals that most frequently hunt something like an ostrich. But an adult lion, yes, one lioness on her own could very easily catch and kill an ostrich. Ostrich are very, very fast. They can run at exceptional speeds, but no faster than a lion. So a lion could catch an ostrich. I've never seen it, to be honest. I've seen cheetah hunting ostrich, but I have never seen a lion hunting an ostrich. I have seen the after effects of lions and ostriches, but I have never seen them. There's one lioness that's off to the left a little bit. I think she's the one that's leading the hunt here. Oh, lioness going down. Where are you off to? Short grassed areas like this, the lions have to use the terrain more than anything else in order to ensure that they have cover. So they'll move through the luggers up against the termite mounds. They basically stay down as low as possible, and they use the advantage of going uphill and over a little ridge in order to be able to sneak up on something without being spotted. I wonder if she's going to come back this way towards the buffalo. I'm still not sure exactly what these lions are going to do. Where is she going? She could just be going for a drink, but she is hungry. Is she going to move into the cover of the forest? I once, when I first started working here, made the grievous error of trying to follow the lions into this area in the dark. I found myself in some really serious trouble. Where are you off to, girl? I can hear something barking. I think it might actually be a dog, to be honest. We're very close to the surrounding villages. Oh, it's another lion. Hiding in the shade there. A couple of lions. Just lions everywhere. Be interesting to see where they end up. Usually during the day they don't go too far up the mountains, because of course they feel a lot more comfortable straying towards the villages at night than they do during the day when there's lots more human activity. There are no fences, so there's nothing to keep them within the restriction or the boundaries of the park. We're going to sit here for the rest of the drive and see how this whole scenario plays out. Let's go and join Scott Dyson to find out if he's any closer to catching up with Tundi.
Well, unless we have a big surprise lined up for us, I don't think we are any closer to Tundi. But interestingly, just stumbled upon some more female leopard tracks, and I'm guessing these are Shadow's tracks, and they're the same tracks that we followed earlier this morning, all the way up to very close to our camp. Actually, was where I had the last tracks, and from there I'm not too sure where they headed. I raced straight towards Hosanna. We've just been sitting in the area where Tundi had been stashing that cub for the last few days, almost a week now maybe, and we just kind of sat there patiently hoping that she was going to poke her head up onto the scene coming back from some hunting, but no joy. So difficult to know where she's gone. She could be on our property, be further south, the cub could be anywhere. We've got no conclusive tracks at this point in time of her moving with the cub though. So that's why I'm assuming that she is stashing it in that same spot for the time being. So good prospects for this afternoon. Tundi could pop out anywhere. Shadow, her sister, whose tracks are heading down this road now, could also be around. So good prospects for this safari. Maybe those wild dogs will also come and join or visit us on Djuma. I've got no idea where the Nkuhuma pride is, our resident pride of lion. They've been missing for a while now. I'm sure they're fine, just doing their business elsewhere. I stopped a split second too late, but the bird that Senzo just to show you has landed up ahead of us here. Very pretty bird. So let's stop here. Oh no. Off it goes. Well done, Sens. Now earlier on you were discussing birds of prey and sheesh, well done, Senzo, and the biggest prey any of us have seen them with. Mine would probably either be a guinea fowl like Noel or a monitor lizard. I think the monitor lizard that I saw getting attacked by a martial eagle was probably bigger, or at least heavier, than a guinea fowl. One bird of prey that I would love to see doing its business is the crowned eagle hunting monkeys in a forest. That would be incredible to witness. One of my favorite birds of prey, the martial eagle. And one day, hopefully not too far from now, is the likelihood of us being able to properly document eagles hunting, or just their lives, you know, with drone technology developing at the rate that it is. It'll be so cool to be able to have a better way of filming and documenting what they get up to. That and tiny insects would be two kind of interesting predators that we're missing out on due to their size and difficulty of filming. Okie doke, so I'm going to head back to camp and see if we can't find any further sign of, in all likelihood, Shadow, whose tracks we followed a little bit earlier. That will also be nice and close to camp for breakfast. I'm starving for some reason today. Anyway, enough about my empty belly. Over to Noel.
Hi everyone, we're still checking our boundary for any lion tracks that might have come in. Haven't picked up anything yet. I also hear my tummy rumbling like those buffalo were earlier, ready for some, I want some Greek yogurt this morning and fruit. That's what I would like. Honey and maybe a little bit of muesli on top, yum. But we still have a little ways to go, and we still have a little bit of checking to do before the yogurt, muesli, honey, fresh fruit scenario occurs. Ooh, Lorna, good question. Who do I think is smarter, elephants or hyenas? I think respectively, Lorna, I really have to actually think about this one. I think respectively, Lorna, I think they're both highly in their own spheres. Yeah, I don't think I would actually say one's more intelligent than the other. I think that hyenas are less emotional than elephants, but hyenas are very smart, and elephants are also very smart. I think they're both smarter than humans, that's for sure. Actually, I think most of the creatures that we watch are smarter than we are. Or more intelligent and more in tuned, and allow themselves to be more in tuned. It's a really nice morning. It's a perfect temperature right now. When the sun comes out from behind the clouds, it's really warm, but then it's still sort of a soft temperature from earlier. It's lovely. All right, now Jamie has an actual animal to show you, other than me just looking for tracks. So let's head on up to Jamie and see about those lions. And maybe let's ask Jamie what she's the best hunting scenario with lions she's ever seen.
Well, we have semi-active animals. Well, we certainly got one active. Apparently decided to use the vehicle next to us as a jungle gym. Sorry, I've just noticed that. We obviously can't put them on camera, but fortunately it's not too much of a problem because the lions are very far away, but I'm just waiting to see if the child now is... Yes, there we go. Okay, we've got it back into the vehicle. Phew. Obviously not the best sort of idea, but it's wonderful that parents can actually bring their kids out on safari, and I've been listening to this little boy's questions while we've been sitting here, and he is very enthusiastic and excited about the nature that he's seeing. Now, Noel's asked a question, and that is, what is the most exciting lion hunting scene I have ever seen? It's a good question. I've always found that I find lion hunts exceptionally exciting right up until the point that they actually catch something, especially when it's a buffalo. It becomes I find it quite difficult to watch, even though I know it's nature, and I still believe that we should show. Please don't crash into me. Please don't crash into me. Oh, that was far too close for comfort. Whew. I thought he was about to take the back of our vehicle out. What was I talking about? Oh yes, lion hunts. I would say that the most exciting lion hunt that I have ever seen in person was the buffalo hunt on Djuma, actually. And that was partly because it was the situation, it was where we were in, and it came at the end of a really long, very quiet drive. And I think what made it even more exciting, Andre had just said to me, why are you driving on this road? We never see anything on this road. It was on Hyena Road. And of course, all of a sudden, these buffalo came charging out of the bushes being pursued by the Nkuhumas. And it took a huge amount of very scary driving to get us into a position where we could see, and then ultimately resulted in a situation where the buffalo started running at us with the lion on his back, and we had to throw the car back into reverse. Then we lost signal. It was chaotic, but I think it was probably very exciting. It was probably the most exciting. It then turned quite gruesome and quite upsetting. It takes a long time for lions to kill a big buffalo bull, and I feel, suffered immensely during that whole process. So that changed my perspective on it slightly. What other exciting lion hunts have I seen? One of the most interesting lion sightings that I've ever had, and one of the most exciting probably, because I knew that there was no risk, was a group of young lions that I knew from the place that I used to work at previously. 3 young male lions who were hunting rhino, and there was at no point was there any danger to the rhino. They were a little bit upset, obviously, but it was fascinating to watch the lions jump onto the back of the rhino and then jump off again, and the rhino barely felt it. They were not injured in any way. But it was exciting to see young lions learning and starting to piece together that whole process. I've seen so many lion hunts, I don't really, to be honest, categorize them as exciting. There was the one with that I shared with Kirsty, That was incredible. Kirsty, Scott, Nikki, and myself, we went to go and I took everyone to go and see the lions, to see the Nkuhumas, and it turned out they were hunting buffalo near Djuma Dam, and this was after we had closed the broadcast for the morning, and we went racing off after them, realized that Scott was actually jogging on quarantine, so we had to go and by the time we found the lions again, they had started to devour a young calf, and the mother kept coming back to try and chase them away. That was actually an incredible hunt. Remember that, Kirst? That feels like a very long time ago. It was a long time ago, because I think it was before the Nkuhumas had cubs. Kirsty says, yeah, it's okay. It's the last time I ever take her to look at lions. Ha! Now everybody's moving down into the shade. This is true. Kirsty has raised a point that we are rather long distance from each other. This is a long distance friendship. Do you know that some of the most exciting lion hunts I've witnessed have been where the lions haven't been? It's the build-up and the anticipation and watching the skill of them as they stalk towards their prey, as they have to move so carefully so as not to alert the animal. And that build-up of tension it's undeniable. It is actually, your heart starts to beat faster, you're waiting to see what happens, and it becomes a true test of skill and a competition between the senses of the animals being hunted and the animals that are hunting them. The lions decide not to do any hunting this morning. They're going to go and lie in the shade. Let's go and rejoin Scott. Perhaps he can give his perspective on that lion hunt that we experienced.
That lion hunt was absolutely awesome for a few reasons. The first reason being was that we had just finished our drive, our regular sunrise safari, and I headed back to camp, and I was adamant the lions had slept for about an hour. It was a hot day, and even though the buffalo were fairly close by, I wasn't expecting much to happen. So Nikki and Kirsty and Jamie drove initially said, do you want to go and look at the lions? And I was like, no, they'll be sleeping doing nothing. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm so happy it ended up like it did, because they proved me completely wrong. And I went off for a run on the quarantine clearings, and the girls went off to the sleeping lions. And a few minutes later, I heard stampeding hooves, which obviously got my attention. The lion and buffalo were close together, so it was highly likely that the lions were chasing these buffalo, and then actually saw the buffalo come running past in front of me, not very close, about the length of a football field maybe. And then I saw the girls racing behind in the vehicle, and they came and picked me up, and then we responded to where we heard the bellowing of a buffalo that had been caught by the lions. And they managed to catch a youngster. Its mother was very brave in trying to come to try and chase the lions off, but she didn't have much luck. The rest of the herd had moved off, so just one lone cow was going to have difficulty chasing off lions. And I actually at one stage thought that maybe they would get her too, because she didn't have any backup from her friends. So that was a very cool morning indeed. Scrappy, you'd like to know if lions would attack a motorcycle. There's a chance of that happening. I guess if somebody came buzzing past on a bike, the lion may decide to chase the person down and catch him, but I haven't heard of any stories like that. And there's lots of parts of Africa, especially up in Kenya and Tanzania, where motorbikes are used by the local people who live in remote areas where wild animals still exist. I know Jamie was chatting about how the Mara is unfenced, as well as a lot of other Kenyan wildlife reserves. So you have lions and leopards roaming through areas where you have villages and communities living. And even though there are a lot of motorbikes cruising through those areas, You know, I haven't heard of anyone being snacked by a lion, but it could well happen. Just about anything is possible out here. Even the most unlikely of events can and will happen out in nature. I think the underlying rule should be that you should never say something is not going to happen out here, because we can so often be proved wrong. Alrighty then, well, I hope you've all had a wonderful safari this morning. I've enjoyed myself, and it sounds like we're going to send you across to Noel for the final few minutes. We will see you all next time.
Hello everyone, so we've done our entire eastern boundary and most of our northern boundary, and no sign of any lions coming in. Doesn't mean that it cannot happen. So I think one of the most amazing lion hunts I've ever seen was with a pride of 7 horses, and the one female got up and just started walking. It was sort of mid-afternoon, a little bit overcast, and she picked up on a zebra, and she managed on her own to take down this full-grown zebra, and only after she had flipped it over and then was sort of on top of it did the other lionesses come and help. And it was absolutely incredible, because we watched them from sleeping to waking up to grooming to this lioness carrying on, and we were able to see the whole thing happen the way that it happened. And you're right, Jamie, the anticipation is absolutely incredible. Now, Scott's had an interesting question there about if a lion could pull someone off a motorbike. I haven't heard of it or seen it happening, but it wouldn't surprise. I have unfortunately seen a lion try to take someone off a bicycle, and then heard that that's happened as well. Some of the guys that do the patrol work around the fences use bicycles, so that's unfortunate when that happens. But from time to time it can occur. And I mean, they are wild animals. In general, they give us space and we give them space, but anything, as Scott said, anything can happen out here. So I just want to say thank you for a really wonderful morning. I enjoyed myself. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. And this afternoon we will be out and about again, following up on many of the things that we saw this morning, and that will be fun and exciting as always. It'll be a good birding afternoon as well with this type of weather that we're having. So I hope all of you enjoy your day or night or midday, depending on where you are across the world. This squirrel is having a complete fit as it runs down the road. And so from myself and Wiem, and from Scott, and I believe Senzo is out with Scott, and from Jamie up in the Mara, and everyone in the FC, and everyone that helps put out this beautiful show out, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and we'll see you this evening.